What we're going to do now is I'm going to straight out make a simple game and run you guys through the process of it. So the first thing I want to show you guys is if you go to File, Open Script Directory. This will open a directory on your computer. It's actually under some long path name, but in this directory you can put a bunch of Lua files, and all these Lua files will be mirrored up to our server automatically. So if you create a new file in here, it will automatically upload that file to our server and it will be available to the program. The same as if that file is changed, it'll automatically download it to this directory. It tries to keep the two directories synced perfectly. So I want to go ahead and create a new script. So demo.lua. Go ahead and open that. Okay. So first thing I want to show. Oh, hold on. Okay, first thing I want to show is the function onSceneStart. So for the global script, there is a single function. This function is the function that's called whenever your Pocket first loads. So in this function, we can do, let's say, a print statement. We go ahead and hit save, and since this is in the scripts directory, it's automatically uploaded to our server. So if I go back into our Pocket and go to the global scene properties, this is the script file that our global scene properties is using. We don't want to use that file. We want to use a new one. So I'm going to go ahead and type my username / the name of the file without the Lua extension. Hit OK. Just to see that worked, I'm going to go ahead and hit View, and it'll pop up a little text editor. Yep, there's my script. So now to test this out, we're going to go to Test Mode, Test, Begin Test. That will open up a separate window that will start running your game. Okay, so the game ran. Up here is the debug console is still available in test mode, so you can go look at that, see your Lua output, see if there's any errors. And you can see in our Lua output is printed Hello World. So pretty straightforward. Now for the next step, let's actually make something interesting. First thing I want to go over, let me go grab some code real quick. Again, all this code that I'm using right now will be available. In fact, I'll show you right now where that's available. If you go onto Support, Example Code, I'm building this simple projectile tutorial right here. So if you click this link, it'll open up the game I'm working on right now in the editor. You can view the script file, you can change it around, you can play with it. So in our code, we're going to make an event map. Let me simplify this. There we go. Okay. So in onSceneStart, we're going to create an event map. Now the event map is basically what handles all of your user input. So if you create a new map, you can assign keys. So for example, here you're assigning the left mouse button to be a certain function and the spacebar button to be another certain function, which I will define in just 1 second. Let me go ahead and show you this actually. These events are basically whenever the engine receives a key press, it will go through all the event maps on the stack, and the first one it runs into that has this event registered, it'll hand that off to it. So what you can do is you can have a game where, let's say the left mouse button moves the camera around, but whenever you push an event map that makes the left mouse button fire an object, suddenly the left mouse button is firing the object. Then if you ever pop the firing object back off, it will go back to the old control of moving the camera around. This is useful for many different things. Okay, so that's how event maps work. I should mention too, if anybody has any questions along this process, raise your hand. But feel free to ask. Okay, so this event map is creating a function, spawn target. So let's go create that function. Yeah. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. If you go to view the code, whenever you open this in the builder, you'll notice it's under my username. Just be sure to save it under your username, because you can't change anybody else's resources. And then you can feel free to edit it, play around with it, do whatever you want. Okay, so we're going to create this function spawn target. Yeah.
So when you say pocket push, the event maps are actually a stack of maps?
Yes. And whenever an event's received, it goes down through the top of the stack or the most recent thing pushed and asks whether it has that event registered.
So when we want, okay, I go by example of a game where if you hold down control button, it's a different mapping. It will be on press control, map this certain.
Yeah, if you have when control is pressed, push a new event map, that will work. And when control is released, pop that event map. That'll totally work. Cool. Okay. Actually, I'm going to grab some globals real quick. These are just random variables. You can define them wherever. So I'm going to define them right at the top. Okay. So this function spawn target, we're going to create an object. First, we're going to check to see if there's less than 15 objects in the scene so we don't overpopulate the scene. Then we're going to create a variable target, and into it we're going to call scene manager create object. Create object takes a file name, which I was saying before is just a username / whatever the name is. After create object will return that object. Then you can take that object and call, let's say, set position on it, in which case we're going to pass it a new vector. You can define a vector simply by going vec 1, 2, 3. So it's just 3 numbers, x, y, z's. So up here you can see there's a vec, but instead of single numbers, we're going to pass 2 random values and a z component of 20. So it'll spawn somewhere about 20 units up in the air. We also have a property system. So you can set your own custom properties on these objects. It takes a string as the key to the property, and then just a Lua variable. So in this instance, it's going to take max health, which is, for right now, 100, and just set the health property to 100. Pretty straightforward. Increment the number of targets, and we're good to go. So with that in place, oh, I did want one other thing before we continue. I was going to talk a little bit about camera control. Let me grab some camera control code here. There we go. Okay, so Wild Pockets has a base camera class, which is designed to make doing most things really simple, really easy. So for example, over here, we have a set event for the left mouse button, and it's going to call the function camera.moveLeft by 0.1. This does what it says it does. It will just slide the camera left. One thing to note with this event map is you can see it's the beginning of it is a key down instead of a key press. A key press is a single event. A key down is continually fired as long as that key is held down. You can implement this behavior by yourself, but the key down is just a nice shortcut for that. In addition, you can see the key release, which is the opposite of key press. So you can see the camera.moveRight functions, move forward, move backwards. There's a begin rotate and an end rotate function, which does when you call begin rotate, suddenly a new event map is pushed that tracks the mouse movement, and it will spin the camera around based on where your mouse is. So whenever the right mouse button is held down, you want to push that new event map by just calling begin rotate, and whenever the mouse is released, you want to tell the you want to pop that event map by calling camera.end rotate. The last little bit is a scroll wheel. It takes an amount that is scrolled, so you can see you can just call camera zoom in by that amount. And so with all of that in place, we're going to go back and go to test mode, hit begin test. And there we go. So now the right mouse button does the look around, and the arrow keys move us around. And with some luck, the spacebar will drop and spawn something. There we go. Lots of things. Perfect. Okay. Excellent.